Did you guys watch Pluribus?
I watched the first 2 episodes and I thought it was great. However, it affected me in a really negative way. Like I really internalized the "you're the only person on the planet" thing. Well, I mean, there's like other people, I guess, in those first couple episodes. I was like, oh, that's like horrifying. Yeah, I thought it was really effective. Again, 2 episodes in, but yeah.
Anyway, I took a lot of heat from members in our Discord for being very pro the Hive. I think it would be awesome to be it's sort of like getting body snatched, Craig. You want to join the collective because then you can be free of all these pesky foibles, right? Anyway, that's where I am with human instrumentality.
Yeah.
Let's just fucking become goo.
Yeah. I mean, that is basically the moral of the TV show is like, just become one. Don't think
just
about it.
Just become one.
You don't got to think about it.
Yeah, I got a lot of heat from my Pluribus takes because they're like, well, what about your like thoughts and your opinions? And I'm like, I don't need those. I don't need those. Because like, oh, I can never feel bad again. And also there's no more war. I don't need takes. I can take my takes away. And then they're like, oh, but there would be no more art. And then this is where my takes became nuclear. They became irradiated. And I'm like, what if I said to you that art was merely the consolation prize for being burdened with consciousness? And if we no longer needed to have the consciousness or an isolated, locked consciousness, then we would no longer need art and we would be free from the desire to see or think about art. Imagine the ecstasy of being free from art.
What did they say? Did they see your point and agree with you?
No, not at all. They roundly rejected my counter proposal, and we never talked about it again.
They hated you for speaking the truth.
Yeah. We will have to be extra clever when we're planting their pods.
Yeah.
They will resist the process.
When I become a colossal pearly white being with a pussy on my forehead and I'm scooping their souls up off the earth, I will not be gentle.
1, 2, 3, go,
Hello and welcome to Swimfans. This is Swimfans Unknown Pleasures, your favorite movie podcast for the week. I am your co-host. Just get over it, Shinji. I'm Josh McKenzie.
I'm appearing before Josh as a Tom of Finland man and then breaking him down into orange goo. I'm Craig Neeson.
I'll kill you. 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 I'm Jennifer Hockney.
This week on the podcast, we are talking... you know what? Anime Club has come back to the show. The shows have merged. The shows have experienced podcast instrumentality.
Yeah, they're goo now.
Anime Club and the regular pod have collapsed into one. This week on Unknown Pleasures, we are talking 1997 Hideaki Anno film, The End of Evangelion.
Just do it. This episode's plot description is longer than usual. If you wish to move directly to the discussion, skip to 1550.
A little bit of backstory, because I think it's necessary. So everybody listening to this podcast knows that Neon Genesis Evangelion is a 26-episode show that came out in 1995, helmed by Anno. And what you also probably know is that the show was troubled, especially in the latter end of its production. So Anno himself was having like mental health crises. The show had budgetary issues. There was like creative instability. So an interesting sort of phenomenon happened to the last two episodes of Evangelion in a way that I've not seen in any other animated production before or since. So after the 24th episode, the series sort of becomes quite strange. Like formalistically, it's quite odd. The show becomes sort of a montage of like storyboards, Genga, like some limited animation, maybe a few paintings here and there, but overall it is not like a complete animated finished product start to finish. And because Anno's probably a genius, he sort of pulls it off and it sort of works in the strange form that it is.
What's Genga?
Genga is the like the keyframe. But I say Genga instead of keyframe because like Genga has like a specific look to it. It's like you know how those like colored lines, like all the lines are different colors and they have like shading on them.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and like in the West, you don't really do that so much. And so I say Genga to like be specific. Like it's not just like a black outline drawing. It has that sort of like really rough pencil quality to it where there's like different colored tones and things.
Gotcha.
Yeah, when it came out, like a lot of people were pissed because like it's I think it's great. I think a lot of people like the ending. It's quite effective in like its experimental quality. But like a lot of people were mad about it because like they sort of drop the plot of Evangelion and they sort of just focus on Shinji's vibes for like 2 episodes, and that's sort of how the show ends. But like all the stuff with like Nerve and the angels and human instrumentality sort of goes out the window. So the reason I tell you all of that is because the end of Evangelion is an alternate ending to Neon Genesis Evangelion, where the movie picks up right after episode 24, which is the landmark episode where the final angel Kaworu comes and Shinji's like gay for him for 20 minutes, and then he kills his friend with the Eva Unit 01. So right after that, we pick up with the end of Evangelion, and so this one is a lot more like plot driven. Which is saying something because this movie's mostly imagery. Anyway, so yeah, you know all the characters. There's Shinji. He's the main kid. He's constantly going through it. You have Asuka, who is the second child, and she is in the canon. She is like comatose at this time. Like she has been completely, she's been unable to sync with her Eva unit. So this has caused like a complete mental shutdown. And then by this point in the show, you know that Rei is like a piece of Lilith's soul, so she's not really like a regular girl. She's not like other girls. Okay, so Shinji's friends are gone. Like Toji and Kensuke have moved away because of all the angel attacks. All of the girls in his life are weird to him, and he's very weird to them. So anyway, so he is sort of spiraling. He's sort of like just sort of drifting around the facility. He goes to visit Asuka. She's, like I said, she's in a coma. And like the first thing he does is he like sees her bare chest and he jerks off to her. So that's like minute 4. So the plot begins to materialize that Sela, who like runs Nerve, but like Nerve has been acting autonomously, but Sela, who's in charge of them, they both want to do instrumentality, but for different reasons, right? So we know that Gendo Ikari, in charge of Nerve, wants to do it so he can get like back with his wife. Like he wants to bring his wife back. And Sela wants it for other purposes that honestly I'm not clear on. They both want the same thing. They both want instrumentality, but they want it for different reasons. So what happens sort of at the start here is that Sela uses the Japanese military to make a move on Nerve. So they break in, and they just start killing people. Like all Nerve employees are getting slaughtered left and right. And so Misato, who you know is like the hot purple-haired lady in the show, in order to protect comatose Asuka, she puts her inside of Unit 02 and she sinks it in the bottom of the lake. But Shinji is not where he's supposed to be. He's like somewhere in the facility. So in order to get to Shinji, Misato has to go way out of her way. And of course, Shinji, perpetually going through it, doesn't want to help, doesn't want to do anything. So Misato has to drag him across the facility. And in the process, she gets shot and is gravely injured. But she is able to get Shinji into the room where Eva Unit 01 is. But she does die at the end of that. So meanwhile, Gendo, his goal, because, all right, so there's 2 angels, right? There's Adam and there's Lilith. And if you unite them, you can do instrumentality. So Gendo has Adam, I think, in his hand. And as I said, Rei is like the soul of Lilith, but then they also have the body of Lilith at the bottom of Nerve. So he wants to sort of merge with Rei to do instrumentality. So he like goes to do this, but Ritsuko, who you'll remember as the hot blonde lady, all right, she has been spurned by Gendo, and her mom is like one of the computers inside of Nerve, and so she tries to get revenge on Gendo for like all of the cruelties that he's done to her, but she's unable to detonate Nerve, and Gendo kills her. He shoots her to death. So he then tries to merge with Rei, which I will come back to briefly. So meanwhile, Asuka at the bottom of the lake, she snaps out of it. All right. She realizes that her mom is inside Unit 02. And so she's like back in it. Like it's the Asuka you know and love. She's super competent at running the Eva. And she is now fighting the Sila's like various military constructs, and they're like artificial. They're like bootleg Ava units. So she's going good, except for her umbilical cord. That's the power cord that the Avas are plugged into. The umbilical cord becomes unplugged.
I'll admit, I was watching this. I was like, how the fuck is Josh going to even explain what the hell happens in this movie? We're not even halfway through it yet.
And this is the concrete part, to be clear.
Yeah.
So anyway, so she fights the Avas, and it's going really great for her. But you know, when the Ava units are unplugged, they have a very limited time to fight. So Asuka is able to defeat all 9 of them. But unfortunately, they all like regenerate. Like all of the damage she does undoes it themselves. And one of the Avas throw like it's the Spear of Longinus, all right? Mm-hmm. The one from the Bible. Okay, so one of the units, one of the bootleg ones throws a bootleg Spear of Longinus. It pierces Asuka's AT field, and it like impales her through the eye. And then this gives the opening for the other units to just start ripping Unit 02 and by extension Asuka to pieces with their bare hands. So Shinji, seeing this, finally gets in the robot, and he goes up to the surface, and he sees Asuka getting torn apart, and he's like, his Ava goes sicko mode, but it's in a holding pattern because we're going to cut back to Gendo, who is bamboozled by Rei. She's like, I'm not going to do instrumentality for you. I'm going to do it for me. And so she severs Gendo's hand with her body, and then she herself rejoins the body of Lilith, and she begins to grow. she begins to become the earth. All right. So as she's doing this, the Sila's plan is to use Unit 01 with the help of the 9 bootleg Ava units to use the Ava unit that has Adam in it as a vector to do instrumentality on their terms. So they summon the Kabbalah's Tree of Life in the sky, and this is
Summon
them
Madonna.
This is how they do their instrumentality, but it's too late because Rei has already, or maybe it's not too late. Maybe they just merge. I don't know. But Rei she's already become one with everything, and so there's this extended sequence where Rei grows very large. She like infects everything. Like all of the Ava units like grow her face out of them. And the Sila finally reveals that in the core of the earth is like Lilith's egg, like the core of Lilith that she is able to use to do instrumentality. So what instrumentality is that AT fields are not a force field. It is the power of the human heart to be distinct from one another. Man.
Yep.
So when she is doing instrumentality, she is removing the tendency of humans or the desire of humans to remain separate. So each of the major characters that are still alive are visited by Rei, or in some cases by like another major character. Like one of the nerve workers is visited by Ritsuko, who she really likes. And essentially this visit by Rei or another figure convinces them to let the body die. To become one with the ooze. And so they do. So there is a long sequence where the major characters become goo, and then like you're seeing the entire planet is becoming goo. So instrumentality is complete. I'm skipping over a lot of imagery, to be clear. So we're gonna fast forward to now. Shinji and Rei are like in the soup. And they are like merged with one another. And it's at this point, very late in the game, that Shinji's like, you know what? I don't think this is for me. I don't think I like the soup. I think that even though life is full of pain, and I will certainly be hurt again, it is worth it to experience the joys of life. And with instrumentality, you can never experience anything new or meet anybody ever again. So you may not feel hurt, but you'll never feel joy. And Rei's like, okay, let's undo it. So I think like through the power of vibes, Shinji kills Lilith. Like her throat just starts like spontaneously bleeding as if it was cut. So she is like beheaded. Essentially Lilith just starts falling apart. Like the pieces of the divine begin plummeting back to earth. There's like a voiceover from Rei where or maybe it's Shinji's mom. It's either Rei or Shinji's mom that is like, listen, so everybody's in instrumentality, but they can return to their body if they want to. So that's on the table. And the last sort of scene here is Shinji and Asuka on like the beach, but like the beach is like fucked up now because the ocean is red. And again, there's just pieces of the divine, like God head, just literally and figuratively, the divine Godhead, just littering the landscape. Shinji, now, he's a person again. He begins to strangle Asuka with his bare hands. And when she stops him by like, stroking his cheek, he begins to sob as he's wont to do. And the movie ends with Asuka saying something like, "You're disgusting." What did we think of the end of Evangelion?
Holy shit. Okay. I picked this. This is amazing. I talked about this on the Patreon episode, but this was my first time through Evangelion after a few false starts like 5-6 years ago. When I was growing up, I was never really like an anime fan outside of like whatever was showing on Adult Swim and like Urotsuki Doji or whatever. And so I came to a lot of this stuff later. And I think that really worked out for me here because I don't think I would have liked this if had I seen it when I was younger. I think a lot of it's like hollow-ish religious posturing and inflated sense of self-importance would almost have like it certainly killed any sort of like hypothetical attempt for me to engage with it before I was like 27. I was a big hater, but I've learned to hang out and chill and be cool, and so I finally watched the original run. And I thought that was dope. I completely understand why everyone I befriended in college was like obsessed with this show. It is a gorgeous, thought-provoking saga about the self-destruction of a group of insane freaks. And I thought the movie was even better because they start really kind of like dropping a lot of like the moral ambiguity and fly headfirst into like, check out these weird sinners. And I think that's like an admirable unusual quality for an animated film to have. And I really appreciated that about it. I thought this wrapped the show up in like a satisfying way, although I really liked the ending of the show. But like the Asuka fight was so big and spectacular. It was nice to get like sort of an elaboration, like conclusion to like the nerve steel ideological split, even though I didn't really kind of understand the nuances between what they were like really trying to accomplish. Because as we said, it seems like they're both trying to do the human goo project. Maybe we can go into that later. The like where it kind of ends is really great. I'll admit, like I didn't really know, or I guess I was like mistaken about like what the movie was. I mostly thought it was just like here's the external world of what's happening at the end of the end of the show Evangelion. I didn't kind of realize that it was like an alternate ending, like they kind of switched the whole ending up almost entirely. But I thought it nailed the landing better. Like the show ends with that scene of like everyone kind of like darkly congratulating Shinji for tearing down his emotional walls and becoming one with everyone, and it's like sort of ambiguous how good it was that he did that. The show treats it as like rapturous, but that seems like there's like an irony to that or something. But I think I much prefer this ending where like Shinji and Asuka just aren't capable of tearing down their AT fields and are now like kind of like stuck with each other, and they hate each other but they hate themselves more. Feels like kind of like a similar message as the show, but I kind of like this cautionary tale version of it better, because it's like you could never get better. You could just keep pushing people away until you die. It's like the same message, but it's more. It wraps up. It feels a little more authentic to me. I don't know, kind of like a Clockwork Orange alternate ending kind of way to me, where like it makes a little more sense to end on like a darker note. I just liked that the two cursed children are doomed to suffer eternally just outside of their salvation. I think that rocks. The parts where it's just the director venting about his mental problems and his issues with women, I think is sick. It rocks that like 25 different production company logos start this movie, and then an hour later
It's so many.
Like an hour later, he's just like given up the pretense of this being a movie about a boy who pilots robots, and he just starts ranting through the voice of his character, just like about all of his problems. Like it just stops. And like and even by the end, it seems like he hasn't actually worked through anything. He seems just as miserable. I think that owns. I think that's great. I loved the episodic structure. Love how the credits roll halfway through, so it can just kind of like drop you off the cliff at the end of it, like a Gaspar Noé film. Yeah, I have a few other notes, but like in general, I thought this completely shredded. This rules.
Yeah, I similarly I encountered Neon Genesis Evangelion late into my life. It was actually during initial COVID lockdown that it really helped regulate my central nervous system. You know, I was going through so much, you know, and the like everyone else, and the figure of Shinji was just so relatable. I felt so held and you know, really affirmed by this construction. And it wasn't until a little bit later that I actually watched End of Evangelion, and you know, I think the series wraps up just fine. I think it sucks that it got done dirty, but it's a case of turning a unfortunate circumstance, much like Mulholland Drive, into gold. You know, it's a incredible feat. This film I find like just devastatingly seductive. The combat, Asuka just absolutely manic, yelling about her mother, and you know, just destroying Japanese troops. You know, stopping missiles with her 12,000 layers of special armor. You know, she's just this unstoppable killing machine. I mean, this part of Evangelion has so much like visceral and like, not to say that like the series doesn't, but visceral combat, visceral violence. You know, the way that the human like ground forces are just little ants, and the way that, you know, the machinery, you know, the surface to air missiles, the artillery, the helicopter things, how they're just playthings for Asuka. Like she's just like, you know, she's fucking going ham. And then to be defeated in this sort of like deeply like unfair and inglorious way. You know, she chops through all those white vulture-esque Evas only to get Spear of Longinus in her face. And it's not even the real one. You know, the other one's it's on the fucking moon. But like the grandeur that this film reaches is like unlike anything else. You know, like I can point to, I think, you know, Jodorowsky's Holy Mountain. I can point to, I think, what like Lars von Trier achieves in Melancholia. You know, Fellini in like Satyricon, like the like total like fucking abandon with which you can just create. You know, the imagery here is insane. You know, everything is you know, when okay, I'm not going to pretend that I understand and can meaningfully interpret a lot of what's happening in this film, but when Rey, giant Rey, gets her throat cut and her blood has spilled to such she's so large and it's spilled to such a degree that it's created like a rainbow around the earth, and it's also like done a little slice of blood across the moon. It's just it's so crazy. I mean, it's creation with abandon. You know, it's really like a feat. You know, the ends that these characters meet, I do find it like hateful or something. If only because like I love them so much that I don't want to see Misato die. I don't want to see Computer Girl get betrayed by her own mother brain. You know, I mean, her final but it's the perfect tragedy, right? For each of them. You know, Gendo gets betrayed by Ray, who, you know, in that curious way, he's getting betrayed by his wife. Computer Girl is getting betrayed by her mother, and also Gendo. You know, she's like, you know, when the Magi refuse to help her or explode everything, she's like, "Oh, so you choose your lover over your own daughter?" It's like the most devastating shit. Like,
Yeah.
it's so, you know, and Misato dying so she can get Shinji in the Eva, and Shinji is just fucking incapacitated this entire movie. You know, like, it's the most like bleak portrait of a human being. You know, I want to evoke like Kristen Dunst's rather. Kristen Dunst's performance of depression and melancholia to Shinji's depression here, where he's just like, he's basically Play-Doh. Like if it wasn't like Misato like dragging him around, he wouldn't like physically be able to go or do anything.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. The only like meaningful like thing that I have an issue with it is like the live the real footage of Japan. I think it's a little too indulgent. I mean, this whole film is like deeply indulgent, but it's okay because it's a fucking masterpiece, and you can get away with that, right? When you're killing it, you can do the Jodorowsky thing where Jodorowsky is the guy flipping over the table at the end and saying "real life awaits," zoom back camera. It's just, you know, I think we're seeing the articulation, like one of the ultimate articulations of a true pervert, of like a true visionary, and colors and sights and viscera and breaking down and coming together and fusing and opening up and penetration and joy and death, and it's just, yeah, no, it's a monumental feat, and I stand in awe of it.
What you may not know about animation production, listener, is that there are so many meetings, and it's such a labor-intensive craft that it's incredibly funny to think about Anno being like, okay, so this is a 2-minute sequence where Shinji is mad that Kaji and Misato are having sex, and he's like watching them in like ghost form. So animation team, go. And then team B, you're going to draw the scene where Asuka just like looks at Shinji and she calls him like a disgusting cockroach before he strangles her. Yes, this is part of my vision. But there will be no notes. Thank you. So yeah, I'm a longtime Evangelion fan. I saw it as a boy. My initial online communities when I was like 13 were very anime forward. So I saw a lot of, you know, very famous series at that time when I discovered what torrenting was. So I've seen Evangelion a few times. I'll say 3 or 4. And it is easily the most expensive Blu-ray set I have. It's this giant, it's a literal colossal square. And it has the Blu-rays for the original dub and then the new dub Netflix did like 10 years ago, and End of Evangelion, a couple, you know, and then it's full of like tchotchkes or whatever. So, but that's easily the most expensive Blu-ray set I've ever bought in my life. I, however, had never seen the End of Evangelion. I just never did. I've gotten shit for it across the internet. People in other Discords are like, "How have you not seen it?" I'm like, "I don't know."
Is there a reason why?
No, I just didn't. Like, I just didn't. I haven't seen any of the Rebuild movies either. I just didn't go see the film extensions of the franchise. And like, I mean, they are sort of necessary to understand them, but like the 26 episode series was just sort of like a holistic entirety to me, and I just never saw them. So that's where I'm coming from. End of Evangelion's fucking crazy. It's everything you love about Evangelion. Like, it's Shinji sulking. That's actually not true. I do have one complaint. It's Shinji sulking. It's Asuka going sicko mode. It's Gendo, who I could absolutely totally fix, just being like the coldest bastard in the world. You have Anno's incredible talent for just free floating, like esoteric iconography, which, by the way, in defense of Anno, that's how every like cult or like new esoteric movement starts, is just like free floating signifiers that you recontextualize and make mean something else, and then the power of time is what gives them legitimacy or tradition. So in fairness to Anno, this is just what everybody else does. But yeah, I think this is just like incredible. It's so gnarly. It's so like devastating. Like I was genuinely shocked because like Misato's the first major character to die, I think, and I was shocked. I was like, "There's no way they just killed Misato. Like she's fine. She's fine. She's gonna be fine." She wasn't fine, in fact. And you know, it's just like all of your faves are dead. The characters that you're left with are like shells of themselves. Like Asuka was in a coma and then she was normal, and now she's like somehow worse than coma. Like she's like awake, but like I don't get the sense that Asuka is meaningfully distinct from Shinji's like hallucination of her when he's in instrumentality. You know what I mean? So like she's definitely worse off. Shinji, yeah, like Jen said, is sort of unchanged. He's made this commitment to Rei and to himself that he like wants to engage with the world, but the world is there's a big eye staring at you, and the ocean is red. So like the world is fundamentally different.
There's not much left to engage with.
You can just hope that the people that you want to meet decide to no longer be part of instrumentality. You just hope that they'll return to their human bodies. Yeah, but I mean, I think this is crazy. Like it's so gorgeous. It's so revolting. It's so cool at moments, you know, not that many moments, but some moments. My only complaint, and like, it's not a complaint really, it's just something I wish was more integrated, because Kaoru does show up a few times, but he doesn't really get like a moment, which I think is a shame, because Kaoru is like, he's the most iconic single episode character in the history of television. I swear to God.
Yeah.
Like he has like 20 minutes of screen time, but he like changes the main character's life forever and ever. And so like, I just wish there was a bit more of Kaoru in this, because you do get such good and horrible things for all the other protagonists, like for Rei, for Asuka. And I just wish you got like a little bit more of Kaoru, but you know, it's not anything to like really complain about. I initially gave this 4.5 stars, and then like I watched this maybe 24 hours ago, and I haven't stopped thinking about it in 24 hours. So I'm like, I gotta go up to 5.
Yep.
I simply have to go up to 5. Yeah, I gotta watch all the Rebuild movies now. I know that the first one, like this, like the very first shot is like the first shot of the show, where it's like the ocean on the shores of Tokyo 3, but in the Rebuild movie, the ocean is red instead of the regular blue color. But I'm excited about that, because the Rebuild movies are like retelling the story, but it's like different now, like in like small ways that like aggregate over time. So I'm looking forward to checking it out.
I need a break. I need a short break to just process Evangelion. Like because I picked this last week. I was reaching the end of the show, and I was like, oh, we're gonna do it. I've been wanting to do it since we started doing Unknown Pleasures. It'll be great. And then I finished the show, and I was like, fuck. Oh no, I need time to like deal with this, like with what just happened. And I was like, this is such a mistake to just schedule this one so close to finishing it, because now I gotta watch the goddamn movie. And then I was like, I don't have time to think about the movie, so I just watched it again. Like maybe that'll set some stuff in order. So I need like 2-3 months before I even think about touching those movies.
I think you need a hug. That's what you need.
I probably do. I probably need to just go outside during the day, you know?
Yeah. I know Craig mentioned this in his Letterboxd review, but like I think even more than the show, and the show is like a lot about this, but even more than the show, I think End of Evangelion is about Shinji's relationship to girls and women, and probably by extension Ano's relationship to girls and women. I think it's really interesting. Like, I mean, I think it's easy to like knee jerk because like Shinji's relationship to them is like weird, like it's all weird, like they're weird all the way down, but I do think there's something sort of, what's the word I'm looking for, there's something like, I don't want to say relatable because I don't mean relatable, but there's something human about it, like this because like so much of this movie is like kaleidoscopic and dreamlike that I can sort of relate to this like manufacturing of like avatars of sexuality that you then are like struggling with, like I guess literally and metaphorically. And so like, I don't, they really managed to like sort of transmogrify what would just be like rampant misogyny into like rampant misogyny, but it sort of feels honest somehow,
right?
In a way. Yeah. There's something there that's it's very strange, but absolutely works.
It's like, asterisk on rampant misogyny. And it's like, this guy is going through it and he's really trying hard. I think, the characters, I mean, again, they appear as like almost like archetypal or something. Misato is at once, at least in the series, like mother and also big sister. Rei is also like a sister, but also like his in my mind, like the female part of him. I think Asuka is his opposite. She's brash, American, can't stop talking, will never stop talking. Absolutely relishes a chance to pilot Neva. Like seeing like the relationship with this like father figure that wants nothing to do with him at all. Like the abandonment that Shinji has experienced first, like through his mother and then through his father, rings really true. I think in a way that it extends beyond the like an easy fault or critique, and instead is like a faithful or is in some way fidelity to at least some portion of the human population's experience with their parents and love in their lives, and how like frightening and daunting it can be, and how alone you feel. I think there's a lot of room. Like you can slap the side of this entire project called Neon Genesis Evangelion, and you can slap the side of it and say you can fit so much projection inside this fucking thing.
Inside this bad boy.
For real, yeah.
Yeah. And I think it works, right? I am in some way sympathetic to the pain that's being articulated here by I think the creator.
Yeah, because like I don't know, like I do think there's something to be said for like, I mean, Shinji is 14, and I think there is a childlike way in which he is like mad at these like girls and women in his life, and like sad at these women and girls in his life, and then like confused at these women and girls in his life. And so like it's in some ways, because it's like so extreme and so maudlin, it just it takes all the sting out of it. I don't know. It sort of like loops back around, and it becomes like a kid like scribbling in his journal or something, instead of like something like deeply hateful. It's artfully balanced. It's crazy.
Yeah, I mean it's the like the ejaculation moment. I mean he she by chance rips open her a hospital gown, and like there's an innocence to Shinji that feels sincere and grounded. I know that there's adults making this and that no children were involved, but I feel like mercifully, I think I think the like the subject position of Shinji as like just fundamentally besieged by all of these emotions, like wanting connection but fearing it deeply, wanting to love but lashing out, wanting to help but being paralyzed. It's just I think the attempt to universalize is ultimately successful in my mind. But again, I'm a man.
Right. Right. Well,
and Shinji also does have a dalliance with a young boy at the end of which doesn't feel totally aromantic or something.
no.
Not at all.
At all.
And like so, like
Seems pretty explicitly homoerotic to me.
like, and when I saw that for the first time, I'm sorry, I'm just talking about myself now, but when I saw that for the first time, I was like, holy shit! Like, there's that aspect of Shinji that's also, not even tracking to the line of like some sort of heterosexual. I don't know, like concretely heterosexual thing. It's like the world and like his sexual drive is just being like utterly like the compass is just spinning, right? Like it's not it's at once like spinning itself out of control and completely static at the same time.
I feel like I liked that about the show, but I do think the movie kind of like explicitly makes a lot of the relationships much weirder and more complicated in like a way that I feel like it's sort of like the show is about, I mean, all these people have made like so many moral compromises over the last 14 years that they're all just sort of like insane wrecks. And I think that like there's sort of this like child grooming aspect to Misato and Shinji's relationship, and I think like it just like fully admits that in the movie in like a way that I think like is pretty damning to a lot of the characters. And like, I mean, that's just like one kind of example of it. I think there's much more like a Rei and Gendo's relationship as well.
Yeah.
And I think like I feel like there's a lot of like this puberty emotional conflict kind of stuff in the show, but I think like I admire the movie for like really kind of like diving into more of the like solidifying it in like a darker light or something.
And I think that's sort of like this has been like 15 minutes of me being like misogyny's not that bad. That's not what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I just think that like these sort of like exactly what you're saying, Jen, is that all of the people in Evangelion are so messed up that like there's the sort of, and I think this is heavily what the show is about. One of like 19 things the show's about in the series is that they are hurting each other, or they're like pre-hurting each other, right? Like it's not like in a hypothetical world where Misato and Shinji did have sex, like after the events of the attack on the nerve base, where she's like, saying we'll do this later before she dies. It would be horrible. It'd be horrible for both of them. It would be a deep injury to them both. And obviously Gendo has hurt Rei deeply. Gendo has hurt everybody deeply. He's the herder.
Yeah,
he's the big herder.
He's the ruiner from the Nine Inch Nails album.
I do love really quick that he's like, actually it was good that I like totally didn't care about Shinji. I needed to
protect him from me.
Like it's like, okay, yeah, man. Like whenever
that's what I mean, that's what I mean about like the movie kind of like taking stances on a lot of the stuff that's sort of like not necessarily brushed aside on the show, but like not centralized. Like the dynamics are more solidified in the like, this is fucked up. Like this has gone too far. This is horribly exploitative.
Yeah, and that's sort of I think what stops this from being like one of the many erotic thrillers we've done where it's just nakedly mad at girls for being women, is that Evangelion does feel like people misusing and abusing each other. And like, you know, obviously the show doesn't excuse anybody. Like at some point in the middle end, Asuka, now that they're in instrumentality, she's like, did you fucking jerk off to me in my hospital room? Do it again, fucking freak. and like, so I mean, the movie like doesn't let him get away with it. It's like I don't know, instead of like these sort of like really bleak erotic thrillers that we've done that have these views of women, like at least I feel like I'm just making excuses. At least in Evangelion, they feel like hurt people hurting each other because they don't know what to do except for hurt each other, I guess.
Yeah, and I feel like that whole montage of like it's just women yelling hateful things at presumably Shinji, but I think it's more about the director getting projected by women earlier in his life. I don't know. It's him like airing that out in like a weirdly public way, and just sort of lowering his own defenses too, in order to, I don't want to say like get people on his side or whatever. That's not what I mean, but like I don't know where I'm going with this. But I think it's like intentionally the author,
right,
unable to kind of deal with his feelings, but like recognizing that they're like complicated at best and like they're hateful possibly.
Yeah.
I mean, we talked about like we joked about body snatching being the ideal condition where we need to jettison art, because there's simply nothing after that. All wounds are healed, all grudges solved, and so on. Like we have this artwork where someone is very clearly airing out like their pain, and I think that's like a completely like, I mean, if that's not like a mode, if that's not like a totally like if that's not like a driving force behind like so many people's creation or like need to create, it's just to like communicate their pain to the world. It's to create like parafiction or create metaphors so deep you couldn't possibly they're Gordian knot, you can't like you can't even see it, but they're still putting it out into the world, I feel the airing out of pain, of using art as a vehicle for wanting, in the way that Shinji wants connection, wanting to be like seen and understood in one's pain.
Guy who's only seen Pink Floyd's The Wall voice, getting a lot of Pink Floyd's The Wall.
No, yeah, that's actually a really great parallel. I think those are mostly mostly operate on the same topics in the same way.
Yeah, no, truly, because like, I mean, Pink and by extension Roger Waters. Yeah, this is also, that's quite more explicitly autobiographical. But like, I mean, Pink is violently misogynistic to his mother, his wife, his ex-wife, any groupie that he meets in the movie. But like, you do get this sort of a vision, less of hate and more like a deep dysfunction that just sort of spills out and like echoes off of other people in a way that's, again, not relatable, but human.
You think of like Osama Dazai, Setting Sun and No Longer Human. And, you think of Fernando Pessoa, who only wrote about how fucking painful it was for him to be alive and to work his office job. Like just that baseline need and compulsion to communicate. Just it's a little missive, it's a little firework out into the world, and it does a brief little pop, and that was like the story of you. But like you had to get it out, you had to get it out.
Like Paul Schrader writing Taxi Driver and being like, yeah, that's basically what I was going through at the time. It's like, you're admitting it?
Can we have like an esoterica corner? Yeah, I love to see it. Yeah, I love to see it. There's like so many little tidbits here. Like, I mean, of course, nobody come for me. Ano like came out and said like, oh yeah, it doesn't mean anything. I just thought it looked cool.
There's no way any of this means anything.
He admitted that it doesn't, and that's fine. Because again, this is how any sort of esoterica ever gets started, is you just fucking just take something and now it's yours. It's so fucking awesome. Like,
Yeah, it
you
rules.
wouldn't think that they would literally just do the Tree of Life, but like, I mean, it's like with the accompanying text and everything. Like, it's not even like the geometry of it.
Yeah,
Right.
it's the actual like diagram.
Yeah. It's so fucking funny, man.
Does it say?
I mean-
Are we supposed to believe it says seraphim in the air? Like,
Yeah. I read I read a tidbit that because they're all like plotted on the tree, and apparently Ava 01 is in the part of the Tree of Life that is the profane and the divine meeting. So that's interesting. Maybe it was an accident. Who could say?
I mean, it's also on the nose, right? Like Lilith being this thing underground that's by its palms crucified. It once she fuses with it, that Scylla mask thing that it's wearing with the seal on it falls off, revealing that her face, that it's not like a chonky guy with some legs that are butting off other people. But yeah, like all the crucifix, all the cruciform poses. Yeah, I mean, I think it's great to take other people's. Oh, I was about to. Well, I think it's really, like you said, like Josh said about cults. I think it's really interesting when people like borrow, just like even on a like aesthetic level, like other people's sacred. Like I remember being at a used whatever, a resale store, and I was in love with this really like frenetic and kind of like angry little candle holder, and it had like 13 little prongs where you could put tiny little candles, and I was obsessed with it. And I talked to the owner, and he's like, "Oh, that's a menorah." I'm like, "Oh," and I was like, "Well, I can't buy that. I can't, right? I'm Gentile. I can't just pack the menorah in my bag and go home and put normal candles in it. Like, isn't that wrong? But like I
think you could have done it.
Oh, and I think so too.
I believe in you.
I mean, the owner and I had like an
the
hour
sacred
long.
and the profane,
I mean,
Yeah.
he wasn't even trying to sell it to me, and the owner and I had like an hour long conversation about why it was probably okay. And like this idea of compositing, all of this, and I mean, Christian imagery is so sexual. Like, it's just so profoundly sexual.
Yeah.
The crucifixion is just, the penetration, the spears, the it's just it's the relationship with God the Father and the Mother, and the child as a sacrifice, and Shinji, being that sacrifice for human instrumentality. It's just the it doesn't, I guess it doesn't really matter that he's like, this is all random, but like as a composite effect, it elevates it, I think, just by necessity, or maybe not. Maybe there's a skillfulness too, to a level of like larger symbolic resonance. I mean, that's why I feel so comfortable just being like, like this is like universalized issues with parents. This is universalized issues with your libido. Universalized issues with like entering adulthood. It just it feels that way because it's carried with a confidence that like it dares to be questioned. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, and these well, I mean, especially Christian iconography is like, it's so rife for interpretation and reinterpretation because like it's just floating signifiers meant or cribbed from something else. This is interesting. Just this morning I was listening to something about like the source of Baphomet, like the the symbol of Baphomet. And apparently it was originally like a during the Crusades, it was like a sort of like racist interpretation of Muhammad, like the word Baphomet was. And then eventually some guy in Europe like drew it, and then they're like, wouldn't it be cool if it was like a symbol of balance? So they did like, you know, the male and female genitalia, the one hand pointing up, one hand pointing down, and then it only became associated with the devil because in 1907 or whatever, the Rider Waite guys put it on the tarot card.
Yeah.
And before then it had no association with like the Christian devil or like evil broadly because it didn't mean anything to start with. It was just like a drawing a guy did. And then you know, Anton LaVey is like, what if I just put this on my house in the 1960s? so like, I mean, that's essentially what Anno's doing to me.
Absolutely.
And so like there is something I think extremely human because, you know, without getting too like, you know, wooey woo here, being human is to be profane and divine simultaneously, I think. So like to take these symbols of the divine and profane them literally and figuratively from their purpose, because even interpretation, I suppose, is a form of profanity. That's just being a guy. And that's awesome. Like to be a creature that's invented symbols as if symbols have any meaning at all is so fucking cool to me.
I think that if I had watched this between the ages of like 18 to like 23, that would have bugged the shit out of me. That like, I don't know, because I grew up Catholic, so like a lot of those symbols like are loaded or whatever, and like I really, in my day-to-day life, my standard mode of operating is like, no, you don't gotta hand it to them for anything. Sure, the symbols are like aesthetically cool, but like you do not gotta give the Catholics shit. Like that's an evil, like horrible exploitative organization. And I think that especially like late teens, early 20s, that would have just been like sandpaper to my brain of like, anyway, my point is that I'm much more willing to sort of embrace these meaningless signifiers, or like, I mean, not meaningless, they mean something to the Evangelion. But like robbing them of their context, I think isn't really an issue to me anymore, and I'm cool to just chill with that. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, I didn't grow up Catholic. I grew up Baptist, which is the most sauceless kind of Protestant that there is. So unfortunately, I do have to hand it to them. I'm like, at least they have.
You
that
don't.
They're evil, right? But they got that aesthetic on lock. Sorry.
It's outright evil. You do not, under any circumstances, gotta hand it to the Catholics.
The Protestants are just as bad, and they just sit in like a beige room. It can get so much worse.
It's not a competition.
It's a race to the bottom over here.
Yeah.
Well, I think on a purely on a vibes based level, I appreciate a religion that acknowledges that they're eating their God every day. You know, like,
no,
sure.
No, I don't.
Okay, she's not having it.
No.
Yeah. But potato.
Yeah.
Tomatoes. You know, so on and so forth. But it's awesome.
It was about to drive me fucking insane after Conclave came out. I'm like, no, you don't gotta fucking talk. Like, oh, I just love the pageantry. Like, these are all pedophiles. Like, what's wrong with you?
That's gonna actually start a fight. I'm not encouraging this.
Yeah, maybe I'll cut that part from the episode. I don't think they'd listen either way. No one tell
Listener, this is our secret. Yeah, so like, I mean, we talked about like the themes, visual, the symbols, the themes. This movie just looks so fucking good.
Yeah.
It's so lush. And like, this is what I'm gonna say is like really grim, but you've never seen people get killed on screen with this weird kind of grace.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like when Nerve is getting stormed, like they're just like icing all the Nerve employees.
It's gorgeous.
Yeah, I wonder if those guys got like PTSD after that. Like, like if I had to painstakingly in between a person getting fucking shot in the head, falling to the ground like day after day, I think I might go a little weird. But it's it's crazy. Everything in this movie is just so lush. Like the sexuality of the movie that we've already talked to death is like disgusting as much as it is sort of like sickly seductive. It's also completely vulgar. All of the graphic design is, like, from Evangelion, completely on point. What really got me watching this was like the scene where Asuka just gets fucking stabbed through the face by the Spear of Longinus was like really gnarly.
Yeah.
The scream that actress does is really devastating.
It's so crazy too, because like Asuka in like the cockpit or whatever it's called, plug, whatever. She's doing like facial expressions like more like rendered and expressive and like animated than like she's ever given on the show before, just because like the increased budget, and it's like there's so much personality to all those drawings, and then like they start like kind of like twisting that because she's like fucking wrecking house, and then like when it starts like turning bad on her, like they're still animating it all with like the same ferocity, and it just looks so fucking sick and like so fucking brutal. I don't know, I was just so kind of like viscerally repulsed when that thing goes through her eye and she starts bleeding everywhere and screaming. They did an amazing job with that sequence.
Yeah, that's where words like cruel and hateful come into my mind. But I almost, it's curious, I almost don't mean them as negative. There is, I don't know why this comes into my mind. When you're like taking portraits of someone like in the early afternoon, like you can get like really soft light, if there's like a little bit of cloud cover. But heaven forbid the clouds part and it's like noon and shadows are raking across someone's face, they suddenly change. And that's to me what End of Evangelion does is it's suddenly like hard shadows on the face, where the film is taking all of these component pieces of the characters that we know and have been established and just absolutely like throwing them into this machinery of ultra violence that's kinetic, that's again rendered so expertly, that's voice acted so expertly. It feels like despicable, like the way that the nerve people are just even when they're surrendering, they're executed and they become a blood spatter on the wall. The way that Misato just dies and then is unceremoniously exploded. The way that like once Lilith has like entered the like pool of water, we don't see her full figure. Sorry, what's I always call her the computer lady. Ritsuko. We see her lab coat get gently waved. The waves, the ripples gently because obviously her body's still floating in that like reservoir or whatever. Like it's there's a brutality. There's like a perfect like a perfectly sharpened craft on display that's just rendering brutality in a way that's just not, I don't know that I've ever seen it in this form, where it's so like razor sharp. So all the breaking apart, all the like when the angels, when the vulture angels start ripping apart Unit 2, and like all the viscera, all the like the entrails, and it's so obvious what's happening, right? That these like avenging angels are now vultures. Like there's an unrestrained execution of violence here. That's just it's hard. It's hard.
Yeah.
So it's difficult at the same time that it's deeply cathartic. You know what I mean? Like it's
Yeah.
it's I mean, it's a cliche, but you know, you can't look away from the car accident. It's seductive at the same time that it's impossibly awful.
Yeah,
Well,
I feel like when Shinji finally gets out there, the scream that the actress gives upon like his scene, Ava 02 just being like torn to pieces and knowing that Asuka is just suffering or dead, you know, like I think she just absolutely crushes it. And then like the way everything ascends after that moment as well. I don't know. It's really
Literally.
great. Yeah, that's
literally
fun.
a sense.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, to tie into like the theme of the profane and the divine, I think those scenes with Asuka. Did you guys ever see Invincible, like the show about like the superheroes, but it's like gnarly?
No.
I know about it, but no, I haven't.
So real quick, I didn't know what it was about. So like I watched an episode with a friend. And I had no idea that it was going to get like dark. And so at the end of the first episode, Omni-Man, like the Superman equivalent, just like fucking eviscerates like the Justice League, his like Justice League friends. Like he like rips their jaws off. He does like all sorts of incredible ultra violence on screen. And I didn't know that was coming. And so like, and before that, Invincible's like a bog standard, like adult superhero show. So like I think the contrast of like that and incredible viscera is extra upsetting. Mm-hmm. The reason why I'm telling this story is because I think that the scenes where Asuka is fighting the bootleg Avas is like the most anime that this is. Like Asuka is drawn differently. She's drawn more like an action character. Like like her design is a little bit sleeker. Like the details are a little like less present because like she's moving faster, so the drawings don't have to be as drawn. And it's just cooler. Like there's all these diagonals where Asuka is like, you know, using the controls inside of 02's cockpit to like swing her arms forward and back and whatever. And like for a minute, it feels like you're just watching like an anime about like kids fighting demons or bad guys or other robots or something. And then she just gets fucking stabbed through the face. And you're like, oh yeah, this isn't fun. Sorry that I had fun for a second. I take it back. That was my bad.
I think it earns that too. It earns that kind of like switch from super robot action to like horror, in just how well first when she's like tearing those things up, they're spilling blood everywhere. Like she's fucking ripping them apart, but when it's like done to her, it feels so much worse.
Yeah.
But like, it functions as like this, like what you would want from like the finale of like a robot show, and then uses the same toolkit to like hurt you or whatever.
Yeah. To be clear, that was absolutely a compliment. Like it was using all of the tools in Anno's toolbox to be like, I know that you get hype when you watch people and robots like kill other robots. Like you love
sick
to
as
see
hell.
that.
Yeah.
But what if you faced consequences?
And she dies like a thematically like appropriate death, right? She's always been a badass. You know, I mean, she is going through. She's going through it, all capitalized. But the fact that she dies like standing upright is both shocking and ultimately like, yeah, she dies a hero's death. Although, yeah, there is that element of like unfairness or something where like, you know, she's laid waste to the white Avas and they simply come back. Simply come back. Her umbilical cord has run out, and her time's up.
Because she did kill them all. In fact, in the 4 minutes that she had to do it, and then it's like, just kidding, we're back. And like, fuck you.
Yeah. Just like really getting like under like the audience's skin, you know, right? Because again, you like the rinse and repeat of a television program. You know, they fight the bad people and then they win. Fight the bad people and then they win. Maybe they get a little bit bruised and maybe there's an arc, but they win. Like it all like centers back to zero, and it's like, nope, not this time. Spear in the face.
Her arm gets split in twain like Play-Doh.
Oh God,
or something.
yeah. So like I could see how this scene would like be like really kind of like devastating if you were younger or something. But like I just assumed they were all gonna die. Like because that's kind of like the end of the show. I mean it's abstract, but I assumed like there's a shot in the last episode, second to last episode, and it's just Misato dead on the floor, and so I just assumed that they were all going to die at some point. I don't know if I was younger and more invested or something, I could see how that would just be completely devastating.
Tough. Yeah, I mean, I guess I kind of buried the lead. I gave this 4.5 stars, and then it's been a thought virus ever since then. So I went up to 5. Once again, I come on here to say a famously good movie is in fact famously good.
yeah, easy 5 for me. I'll probably watch it again.
Please don't.
You can't stop me. I'm getting out of this goo, Josh. I'm embracing conflict. 5 of my largest stars to this whole project, but especially End of Evangelion.
I'm still inclined to give it 4 out of 4.5. Just I really don't like the real life footage. I don't like seeing the cinema. It seems like the audience has been instructed to pretend like the camera's not there, but some of the audience is clearly fucking around and they're actually they're playing the camera. Which is like understandable if you have like 1,000 people in a room. Like some of them are not going to follow the instruction. I for some reason that it takes me out. It takes me out a little bit. But I think it is a 5-star movie. I think it's perfect. But I also really don't like that.
I mean, it wasn't my favorite part of the movie, but like I think something that like made it go down smooth was like I expect this from Anno. Like I expect this sort of like visual experimentation just like based on what happened in Evangelion. Mm-hmm. Like he would go on, like I mean I'm not a complete expert in his filmography, but like Shin Godzilla is a lot more by the books, you know? But like I guess because it's Evangelion and because I know how the show ends and I've seen it a few times, I guess I expect him to like go somewhere with it. So it wasn't as off kilter to me to see it. I mean, I was surprised to see a live action segment. Don't get me wrong, but I was like, yeah, I guess he had to get weird with it for an afternoon. So they just went outside and shot 2 minutes of footage and threw it in there.
I knew it was gonna happen just because I've seen it referenced in other stuff. So it wasn't like that jarring, especially when you consider how like kind of abstract the end of the show got. I think it works. I kind of like that the audience isn't fully committing to it. I think that them kind of fucking around because I think the shot of the crowd is supposed to be like, look at all these people watching me, Anno, the director, as I just sort of like pour my vices out on screen. And like you're retreating into a fantasy world, like it's clearly about like the making of the show as well. I liked it. I think it mostly nailed it, but I do think that there are things that have referenced it that have done it better. There's a movie I really like called it's a DIY movie called Open Doom Crescendo. We actually almost watched it for my birthday last year. And I understood it that it was like generally in conversation with Evangelion, but I didn't kind of realize that like structurally it was like it's supposed to be kind of like the last 4 episodes of like this. It's a live action movie, but it's like supposed to be like kind of like an anime. And then it goes into its own End of Evangelion at the end of it for like the last hour. I didn't kind of understand what it was doing, but like watching this back, and there's a few points where I'm like, I think they kind of did it better in Open Doom Crescendo, and it kind of like relates back to that movie's own production in like a little more of an interesting way. But I like the live action stuff here too.
One might say that Hideaki Anno, he simply tore down the wall. And now people have to see him in all of his vulnerability.
This is the wall, motherfucker. My last note, I swear, is I saw that he basically gave the series to Yoko Taro, creator of Drakengard and Nier. and I'm excited to see what he does with it because it's gonna be fucking weird.
Yoko Taro's the only.
He's the only guy who could have done it.
He's the only like other freak. Like there's like a few like freaks out there who I trust to like do freak shit.
Yeah, like Kojima or something could probably do it, but I don't think he's as good as a fit as Yoko Taro is.
Not for Evangelion, but like Kojima, Taro, Ano, like these are like freaks of the highest caliber. I'm simply seated. I don't know how to get Craig into the collected works of Yoko Taro because they're all like 40-hour video games, but like I feel like you would enjoy them.
Drakengard is fucking crazy. I started near. It is not nearly as batshit as Drakengard is, though.
It's not as wild, but I think that Nier Automata will fuck you up.
I'm excited to get there, but
yeah.
I'm currently only about 4 hours into Nier, so I got a ways to go before I get there.
Thank you for listening. Do you have any questions?
I don't think so. No.
Ask us a question. Do this for us, or we'll do instrumentality again.
Don't threaten me with a good time. I'll do it. I'll get in the goo, man. You don't know me.
Oh, wait. Sorry, we do have a question. Craig, by combining a premise with a director, would you tell us about the movie that's going to be everything Cats is not?
Who asked this?
I think
Fortunes in Hades?
Fortune in Hades.
So you're tasked to make the anti-Cats.
Yeah.
So like a good or a movie that you would like?
Yes. Something that is pure.
Yoko Taro's Evangelion.
I think the movie... Sorry, this is a really lame answer. I think he tried. I think Alejandro Jodorowsky tried to make Dune. That would have been it. That would have been it. That would have been the anti-Cats. If Alejandro Jodorowsky was able to successfully mount the insane doomed to fail Dune project. Yeah, that would be it.
Have we talked about Jodorowsky's Dune, the documentary, on here before?
I don't
No.
think so.
Have you guys seen it?
Oh, it's fantastic. Yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah.
Didn't we do it at Gonzo?
No, it didn't come out till after we had graduated. Unless it was like that brief window where you were still there and I wasn't. Because I saw it at the Music Box in Chicago.
Okay.
Fascinating project. I love that we have this sort of like documentary, like chronicling its development and like kind of like how it went wrong. But like, I also think that there's just no way that movie would have ever gotten made. At a certain point, you just have to be like, this would have been the most irresponsible movie. Would never have made money back. It never would have succeeded. It was going to be like 8 hours long or some shit. Like there was no chance that this movie would ever have come out and succeeded and like finished being made. And then but the movie's just like, yeah, it's just too ambitious. They had to kill it. And it was just like, no, I just don't think that's what was going on. I just think that like this was a completely unrealistic project.
Yeah, and leave it to Jodorowsky to shoot for that fucking moon. Like,
Yeah.
No, like it's an archer like literally trying to hit the moon.
Yeah.
I think on some level he must have known what he was doing.
Just seeing how much he could get away with or something.
Yeah. How much he could bend reality.
When you're too damn real.
Yeah, he is Mr. Too Damn Real. That's true.
Yeah. Thank you so much for listening. we got to get more anime on the main show because all of my incredible takes are locked behind the Patreon paywall that you can get for as low as $1 a month. It's not even a paywall. That is a pay stoop. Okay. So like if you want to hear more about anime,
but legally it is a paywall. You do have to pay us. I have a few movies on my list that are anime, so we'll be back. We'll be back to the art room.
You can find the show on all the social medias. So Blue Sky, Instagram, Letterboxd, Swimfans Pod. Give us a follow over there. You can ask us questions, such as Fortunes in Hades does, or you can send us recommendations. That can be done on Blue Sky DMs, Instagram DMs. It can be done on the Spotify episode descriptions, and you can also email us. So that's swimfanspodcast@gmail.com with questions, comments, concerns. Actually, no concerns, but questions and comments are fine. And then you can find the show. Did I say this part already? Find the show on YouTube. Apple Podcast, Spotify. Did I say that part? You can find the show at all those spots.
I tend to pull up Letterboxd while you're doing this part, so I'm not actually sure.
She fucking ignores me while I do the outro. And then, like I said about
but
Patreon,
you all better be paying attention. This is important.
For as low as $1 a month, you can get access to all the Patreon episodes, including all of the other anime-based episodes that don't qualify for the main show. Thank you to all the patrons. We really appreciate it. You can find me online. So that is Blue Sky, Instagram, Letterboxd, user Amons, AMO-NNS. I saw The Devil's Reign, 1975, I think. It is bizarre. It's a weird movie. So Ernest Borgnine plays a satanic priest. And William Shatner is in the movie, and Tom Skerritt. And then John Travolta plays a very small role as a cultist, which is fun. But it's relevant because it is the only movie, I think, that Anton LaVey advised on, like he consulted on for Satanism or whatever.
Hell yeah.
And also he's like in the movie wearing he's like a satanic priest. He looks like shit, obviously. So it's fun. Mostly it's just like a whatever movie, but it's sort of like, you know how like exploitation movies are super boring except for the exploitation part.
Skill issue.
This is sort of like that, except for there's like 12 minutes where people are just melting, like they're just like dissolving, and like the melting effects are like so fucking cool. The melting is amazing. I don't even know how they did it. It looks so fucking good. So that's The Devil's Reign. It's called The Devil's Reign because the devil rains down and then all the people melt. Jen.
I've heard of it. I haven't seen it. Yeah, that description makes me want to, though. You can follow me on Blue Sky, Diatron5.swimfans.pod.com. I'm on Letterboxd Diatron. I've mostly been in Evangelion world for the past week. I guess I rewatched Tokyo Fist. Still great. Love that. Shinya Tsukamoto. Craig.
You can find me at Craig Neeson on Instagram and Letterboxd, CraigNeeson.com. I, by chance, watched The Gate, 1987's The Gate, starring a very young Steven Dorff. It is it's like Poltergeist, but it's like, what if behind your house you had a tree and you had like a tree house, but the tree fell over and there are goblins under it, and it's like I hate using it. It's a cult horror movie, and it's not very good. There's some cool stop motion and so on, but there is one moment I want to highlight. So there's two kids, they're best friends. So instead of like reading from the Bible to like exorcise the demons, he gets frustrated, reads a couple of the first words of Genesis, and throws the Bible into the demon pit, and it explodes. It's awesome.
That's so awesome. He can't get through Genesis 1:1 without getting bored, and he's like, "Fuck this shit."
Yeah, it's really
in the beginning. Fuck this.
Oh,
Yeah. Truly, it's it's I remember seeing it. I must have saw it when I was really young because I remembered all of it. It's a fun. If you like not so good, culty. Late 80s, it has all that style and all the fashion and so on. If that sounds interesting, campy as hell. The Gate.
Is Steven Dorff the one who's in True Detective season 3?
Oh,
which Dorff is that?
Brad
yeah, that's him.
Dorff.
I think
It was Steven and Brad, right?
Yeah, no, I think Brad Dorff's the one in Exorcist 3.
Yeah.
Okay, so Steven Dorff is the one in True Detective season 3. I need him. That's all I was going to say about that. I just need him.
He's in Zoolander and Blade and Public Enemies.
Yeah,
and
hell yeah.
Cecil B. Demented.
Yeah, but he's really hot in True Detective season 3.
Fear.com.
Have you seen that movie?
Well, we are past an hour 30.
Okay,
we are ending this podcast. Thank you for listening.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye.